It's your boy Tank. We here for another one. You know, we got a little trailer PM today. Teach everybody how to do a trailer PM, I guess. And we're finna make sure everything works. So, okay, you got your box. We're gonna use this box to test the lights. So right now we got it set to clearance. Want to plug up into your 7-way, and we gotta see if the lights work. I got one light up there. That one's on. Got one light right here. This is on. Got a light here. That one's on. We got power. 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 Power. Okay, we got power. Okay. So now we're finna set our box to the left side blinker. So now the light should be blinking. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Light work. We good. Turn back to the box. Turn to the other side. Right side. And we're gonna see if the right side is blinking. Now look, we got lights. Okay. So the light inspection is good. Now we're finna go on to the next step. All right, guys, we at the next stop. See that one right there? The one we finna work on. So we got another trailer PM, and we got an axle inspection. So shit, let's get to it, bro. It's something that's been on my mind for a minute, you know, about people that's not in the field. They wouldn't understand, but I can tell you the pros and cons of being a diesel mechanic. A diesel mechanic versus being an auto technician, I guess we can talk about. Because I got a little bit of automotive experience. Even though I ain't never worked for a dealership, I've had a shop before. So I got a little bit of insight on the automotive side. But all in all, in my opinion, I think diesel is way better than being an automotive technician, right? And the reason I say that is because, well, I mean, I'm not necessarily gonna say it's better, but it's less of a headache. Like, for instance, most of the time, if you're an automotive technician, I don't think they get paid hourly. I believe they get paid by the job. So you might do good for a couple months because you're getting constant jobs, and then it might just go, you know, slow. I guess that depends on your supervisor, you know, whoever feeding you the work. And, you know, whether you're getting warranty work or not, you know, there's a lot to go into that. But on the diesel side, it's a little bit better, I would say. Just because of the fact that I think, well, I can say that. Because of the fact that in the diesel field, you'll always have a job. They always need diesel mechanics because we work in a line of work where it's not very common for people wanting to be diesel mechanics anymore, right? So for instance, me, when I started, Well, I always said I wanted to be a diesel mechanic, but I waited a couple years, you know. I did the warehouse thing for a minute. It was alright, but I had to get into this diesel field. I always said I wanted to be a diesel mechanic anyway. But I guess I'm going to give you the pros and cons. Okay, so we'll start off with the negatives of being a diesel mechanic. Negative. I would say the toll that it takes on your body. Being a diesel mechanic is not an easy job necessarily. I mean, it's easier than fixing on cars, but it's a lot bigger things, you know, a lot more parts, a lot bigger parts. Like with a car, the biggest socket you might need is what? I said 32. That's probably the biggest socket you'll use dealing with a car. And that's probably for like an axle nut or something like that. Versus on the diesel side, a 32, that's the size of the oil filter housing on Detroit's and things. So I guess that's a con. You have to buy more tools, bigger tools, more expensive tools. The work, it's easier, but it's a lot heavier material, you know. It's not like a car where you do a brake job on the car, they give you 30 minutes. You know, you jack it up, pull the tires off, throw the pads in, you keep pushing. Versus on the diesel side where, because these trucks, you know, a lot bigger. So you might have to pull a tire. And, you know, most trucks, or the newer trucks, they have pads, but a lot of these older trucks, they got drums on them, drums and shoes. So you might have to pull a drum. Yeah, the drum weigh about 50, 60 pounds. And the truck, you know, you got a drum on every axle. So I guess that's something, you know, just far as your body, this isn't a line of work where I want to get, you know, be 60, 70 years old doing this. But for a young man, this is the easiest money you can make. Be like me, I'm 23, and I make damn near $30 an hour. So, I mean, the money is there. But I think another negative about it would be the troubleshooting process. It's a little different troubleshooting these trucks versus cars, because a truck could be working perfectly fine and it'll just have random codes. So I guess that's another one. Another negative I would say, let me think about that. What else can I say is negative about this? Probably, I'll say, dealing with drivers. Dealing with drivers is a little different. Because, you know, truck drivers, it's not like automotive where they just drop their cars off and they go about their day. You know, the truck drivers, they sit there while you fixing on their trucks because they need them. But you know, you might have a driver that want to talk your head off while you fixing on this truck or something like that. So you might have a driver that's been a dickhead or something. So it happens. That's another negative I say. You get roll calls. That's another negative I can say. It's not like an automotive shop where all your work comes to you. In the diesel world, we get roll calls where you might have to go out on a roll call because the truck is broke down on the side of the road, broke down at a truck stop or something like that. So you have to be a lot more independent versus being an automotive technician where the work is in the shop. You know, it's nothing to ask one of your senior technicians to come and help you. Versus being on a roll call, you might have a truck in D-rate. You got to go on a roll call to get it out. And you might not have the knowledge to get that truck out of D-rate. So, you know, you got stuff like that. But all in all, I still think it's better than the automotive side. So I guess I can tell you the pros of being a diesel mechanic. Those are just some of the cons. I mean, you know, it's different strokes for different folks. Every company is going to treat you different. Like, for me, I work for a pretty decent company. I work for, we'll just call them the Big P. That's what we'll call them. I work for the Big P. I mean, anybody in the diesel world? No. Big P is a big company. They got decent standards. The pay is pretty good. You work on your trucks. You don't have to work on random trucks. Most of the trucks we work on, the company owns, so it's less of a headache if you have to order parts, you know. So that comes with it. Another pro is you make more money, make way more money than the automotive technician could dream of, even when entry level into this field. So I came in a year ago, entry level Tech 3, and basically when you're Tech 3 here, you're just responsible for PMs. I say PMs and mainly tires. So you know, you got your oil changes. The hardest thing you'll do is probably a tire as a T3, unless you want to move up. But when I started off as a T3, I started off making what, 23 and some change, which isn't bad, you know. That's not bad at all. So that's a pro. You make more. I think it's easier to work on these trucks too. It's way easier than cars. You know, cars are smart. You got to deal with computers. Although I will say trucks are moving to that. Like these newer trucks, they come with radar systems and all that. Where you have a radar system that's supposed to make the driver be able to not, you know, if he go to sleep and driving or something, it'll stop the truck and wake him up, I guess, or something. I don't know. I guess keep him in the lane, which is not bad, but the radar causes a lot of problems for the trucks. So you have to deal with that, but that's still a positive because that's easier dealing with that type of stuff versus dealing with a car. So we'll have that. What else I can say? The work. When you're a diesel mechanic, you'll always have a job. Because diesel is a field where it can never really be full because these trucks got to stay moving. Whether you're a diesel mechanic or a field technician. So, you know, you have a lot of options when it comes to diesel versus automotive, where you need 1 million certifications just to get the job, versus diesel where you're likely to get hired without it. Prime example, me. I had no diesel experience when I applied to work for this company, but they hired me, versus people that go to school, technical colleges and all that nice stuff to get a job. Yeah, well, at least that's what you would have to do from the automotive side. So I can say that's a pro. You don't necessarily need a degree to be a diesel mechanic. Let's see. What else can I say? I mean, the benefits are pretty good. You know, hopefully you work at a company that gives you discounts like my company does. We get a lot of discounts. You know, it's a good company for... Every company has their bullshit, I can't say, but so far, they treat me pretty good here. So I don't really have a reason to leave at the moment. I mean, you know, you deal with bullshit people here and there, but that's what comes with it. But I can say that. What else can I say as a pro? I would say getting your CDLs would be a pro, because if you can get, you know, not all companies require it, but most of them do in order for you to be a diesel technician. Sometimes companies mandate you get CDLs, but luckily my company doesn't. But I guess that would be a plus, is getting your CDLs, because how y'all doing? Getting your CDLs would be a plus, because if you ever decide that you don't want to work on diesel equipment anymore, you can go drive trucks, you know. So it's always money in driving trucks. Oh yeah, that's another pro too. You get to learn how to drive these oversized vehicles. So that's a pro. Another pro I can give you, let's see, I'll say, let me think. Let's see. I said the benefits, that's a pro. I said the pay, that's a pro. The easier jobs, that's a pro. What else would be a pro? I wonder. Hell, that might be it. I mean, you can work anywhere you want. That's a pro. I mean, there's a lot that come with it. This diesel field in general, it's really nice. I mean, from what I can see, you know, you have bullshit companies here and there, but there's a lot of money to be made. You know, my advice to anybody that wants to do this type of work is to especially if you have no experience, is to get in, learn as much as you can. That way, even if you are with a bad company, because I'm a firm believer in just getting yourself in the door, and you can know, it's like Thug said, you just need the deal. You always get out of it. So my advice to anybody that wants to get in this field is to just, apply anywhere you can, and just get in where you can. You have companies that want you to come in and start off on a few islands and things like that, which isn't bad. That's the way you should do it anyway. I just skipped over that because I came in with automotive experience. Just because I can build cars in general, They just come with owning the shop and going through all that nice stuff, Me and my boys, we had a shop together, so that was pretty fun. But it's always money to be made out here, especially if you want to get in this field. I would, because there's a lot of companies out here where OT is wide open. So imagine you already making almost $30 an hour, and they got unlimited overtime. You got no kids, no family or something like that. You can come in and run it up. You can do it the way I used to do it. I go hard for 6 months and just get my 40 the other 6. So it's always money to be made in this field. Plus, once you learn it, it's like riding a bike. You can never forget it. And who's to say you can start doing side work, because a lot of these jobs are easy. And being a mechanic is already a field that nobody wants to work in. So it would be nothing for you to, get into a field that's real easy. That ain't really hard. But I would say that's pretty much the pros and cons of being a diesel mechanic, I would say. But you know how that goes. Different strokes for different folks. To each their own, I guess. But I guess that's all I got to say about the pros and cons of being a diesel mechanic. And I even gave you my opinion on how to get into the field if this is something that you want to do. Because there's always money to be made out here. I mean, it don't get no easier than this. You gotta think about it. You come to work, you do your job, you go home. You can go home and make even more money on the side, It don't hurt to do a little side. Alright, y'all. We done made it back to the yard. I'm gonna probably chill out on the yard though, probably next couple hours till it's time to go. I lost the footage though for those other two. I forgot to finish them, man. But it's okay though, we're gonna keep it pushing. So we at the yard now. I might give y'all a quick shop tour if they let me. We'll see.